Ever since I was such a young girl they told me about my father. Died before I was born is what I've always been told. Memories with him are quite brief, but still remain in my head today. The last day I ever saw my father, on the island. On that island. The island of no return they like to call it. I always told myself that one day I would go back, uncover the mystery that's been lurking deep within the sea. Now is that day, the day I return to the island of no return. I quickly gather my things, as well as my father's journals, notebooks, anything that could uncover the tragedy that happened on that day. I slowly rush out of our small apartment in the midst of the night. Sadly, for the last time I walk through the front door to a life that is still unknown to me. Morning comes and as expected my mother calls asking me to come back home. Along with my brother. Named after my father James Earl Harding Johnson. I give in to their requests and decide to meet them at coffee shop on the corner of Broad Street. I tell my mother my plans but she, as expected, is very reluctant to let me go to the very same island. But my mind has already been made. My decision secure. I will be going back to that island, nobody can tell me otherwise anymore. I'm tired of the lies, the mystery. I will be going to that island, and I will find out what happened to my father. My mother grows more and more frustrated as she knows I'll never change my mind. I decide to expedite my journey. The island is in a secret location. Following the exact tracks of my father is the best way to find it. Along with my savings I have some money saved up, so hopefully that will do for now. I head to Turkey to meet a Professor Richard. They used to teach together at conferences, and things like that. And in the midst of the night, I'm on a plane to Turkey. One step closer to finding that island and finding out what happened to my father. I call a taxi and get a room at a hotel. Not the best, but I can manage. I lay out all my father's books, relating to the Professor Thier findings on different experiments and things like that. I come upon something Billnet University, my father, and the professor did an experiment on some new type of metal, or something, but what I don't know. A phone number is listed here also, I call in hopes that it works. It does, recognizes my voice, he says. Stated that he would be happy to talk. He gives me an address for a secret location. Meet me there at 1400 hours tomorrow. I agree and I'm off. I meet him there at the place and time specified. Although brief, I get somewhere. He told me they discovered a new metal, a group of new metals. Iglil, Nekium and Cochrenium. Although he didn't know their full purpose, he did say that they could do miraculous things, and for that reason people wanted it, all of it. I ask if he could bring me some files on these people and possibly these new metals, and he agrees. He gives them to me later that day at the same location. The Finless don't list much, just some information about a company called Verbio. Most of it is redacted, but from what I can read, they were also investigating these new metals. But that's all that I can get from those. I decide to stay one more day and speak to a chemistry professor. Perhaps they know what these metals can do. I then read about a Dr. Lorwyn Phillips from my father's books. Seems they were quite good colleagues. The next day I arrive at her office, asking her about the metals. She knows little, but what she does gets me to my next step and location. Apparently these metals could not only give people powers, but transform them as well. It was original thought that these metals could be used to help amputees, those with blindness, and others, but something bad happened. She stated that I must be careful not to attract the wrong people. We quickly parted after that. I book a plane ticket for New Zealand that very night, where the founder of Vibrio resides. A little digging and researching never hurt anyone. Although I doubt the founder would give me an interview, it's always worth a try. I decide to get some rest that morning and head over to his house that evening. I assume that he wouldn't willingly give me any information, so I take a more forced approach. I sneak into his back window. Luckily it was his office. And in the seat the founder himself. As expected, he asks who I am and what I'm doing there, but I'm not here to answer questions. I demand information about their work with these new metals. He says ownership got passed down from him to a dear friend of his. He's heard about his company and work they're doing. Says he never agreed with it, although I'm doubting that. The new founder wanted control over these metals, all of it. Unexpectedly, he says he knew my father, the work he did, and possibly the location of the island. I never fully agreed with him until he told me he could know the location. He gave me once another file with a type of code. Seems all gibberish to me, but if it helps then I'll take all that I can get. I leave his office, then book a hotel for about 2 days. A knock on my door awakens me out of my sleep. I open, and 2 men ask to speak with me. I invite them inside, curious about what they have to say. Quick but potent. I putting your nose where it doesn't belong, they say. But I make it very clear to them I will arrive at that island whether they like it or not, at any means necessary at that fact. They leave and I quickly pack my things for my departure. I make sure I leave nothing. Booking a plane ticket from country to country isn't the best, but I'll do what I have to do. I check my phone, as I haven't done in a while. And as expected, my mother. She's worried about me. I send her a quick message and destroy the phone to avoid her from being in any danger. My next destination is Brazil. Hopefully I won't be found there. As I land in Brazil, I take out the file the founder gave me. I quickly book a hotel. It just says the alphabet along with some numbers underneath. I quickly begin to think and it comes to me. Iglil, 5I, Nechium, 7N, and Cocrinium, 10Q. My father and I used to do this type of code all the time, when he was hiding something from me like a cookie or a doll. You count the number of letters along with the correspondence of the first letter in the alphabet. Something not just him and me knew, I guess. It brings me to tears to think I found it. The location of the island. It's almost as if my father laid this out for me. Only if he had. I look up the coordinates on a map, but nothing. I look them up on Google, still nothing. I contact a private airline close to my location and ask them if they can fly here. Although it's quite a bit extra, they say they can. Once again I pack up my things and prepare to head to the island of no return. The flight is scheduled for tomorrow. I decide to get there early. Luckily they have an opening. It's a couple of hours before I tend to realize I'm almost there. The lies revealed. The truth will be told. Once and for all, I made it. I'm here and I'd never trade this moment for anything in the entire world.